Can't believe it. Yeah, Elder Sensei.
Oh man, thank y'all for having me.
I always call you El Sensei. I always forget duh.
Look, it's funny when I'm over there, they say Elder. They think Elder is my first name.
Elder.
And then Sensei is the last name.
No, I just say Sensei. Some people call you Sensei. Some people call you El Sensei.
A lot of people call me El.
Or some people call you like EDS.
Nah, that's the first time I heard that.
First time?
Yeah.
EDS. Way easy. Because at first I couldn't spell Sensei. I'm like, how you spell Sensei?
Yeah, and then at first they were spelling that wrong too.
They put S-A-Y then S-I.
S-A-I. When I first went over there, they saw the promo picture like, your name you spelled wrong. It's Sensei right now.
So how's 2025 treating you?
Check out, man. 2025 is really good right now. I can't complain. Work is coming, and that's the most important thing. New album out. Me and my brother met Plus. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the album project. Is it Unpack? Unpack, right?
The Unexpected.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Unexpected. Yeah, Unexpected. Yeah. So let's go back a bit. El.
Yeah.
You're part of the most prolific. First of all, before I even start, Artifacts. Is it Artifact or is it Artifacts?
Artifacts, yeah.
Now, where did that name come from?
So Artifacts, we actually wasn't called Artifacts when we got signed. We was called That's Them at first. We had our first meeting with Atlantic, and Big Beat Atlantic, and they asked us, okay, what's the name of the group? Because we got our deal strictly from being on Stretch Armstrong and Bobito Show. And when we got the deal secured, first meeting, what's the name of the group? That's Them. Yeah, y'all gonna have to work on that. Let's see, y'all can come up with something else. So we looking at each other, leaving the meeting, and we like, wow, like, what we gonna do? We got the names just off of showing up at auditions, and people seeing us. Oh, that's them dudes right there. They just knowing about us that way. So we went back home, going back to Jersey, and I looked at Tame, and I don't know why this came over me, but I was like, yo, Artifacts. And he was like, now, of course, we ain't got no phones back then. There wasn't no Google. So we get back to the crib, and, of course, we knew what it meant, but we had to see it in writing. So Artifacts is anything from ancient times brought to newer times to study and analyze and, get historical, from it. And I said, wow, we still B-boys. We do graffiti. At this time in 92, 93, it wasn't a lot of hip-hop that was like, back in the day, whether it be B-boying or graffiti artists. It was, hip-hop was at a crossroads with that. So we came back to the label for the next meeting, and we was comfortable, because we already knew what it was, and we was waiting for them to ask us, and as soon as they said it was like Artifacts, we sat back, and the lady said, okay, that might work. Now, let's go over here in this other room and go to the computer so we can make sure there's no other hip-hop group with that name. So that's how Artifacts.
So they had to look it up and make sure.
Yeah, and thankfully it wasn't.
Oh, did you get offers from like different labels, like Tommy Boy or Payday?
Nah, and that's very fortunate as well. We didn't have to go through the listen to my demo phase, and that was from us, being on Stretch and Bob. New York with Stretch and Bob was on fire every Thursday, 1 o'clock to 5 a.m.
WKCR.
Yes, indeed, Columbia University. And we went up there. Tame won a battle on the phone 1 week. Then the next week, I went on and did the same thing, but it didn't matter what I did because Tame already had secured it. So we go up there for 15 minutes. We rapped on this Zulu War Chant record, and that was me and Tame's introduction to New York itself, let alone just being up there with them. People was calling up while we was rocking, because like they were like, who them dudes up there? And then after it was over, just so happened we knew Bob worked at Def Jam at the time, but we didn't know Stretch had worked at Atlantic, which he was working with my man Rob Reef Tulo. And after that one radio show, they just like, yo, take our numbers. And they kept in contact with us, and we just didn't know that we was meeting people that was going to groom us to actually get a deal. So we didn't have to get shopped around. You know, Reef was right there with Stretch. So they took us to Atlantic. And which is funny because when you look at Nas' story of how he began, and he was working with Search and a few other people that were working with Nas was shopping him around. And he almost signed to Big Beat Atlantic, and it was only because they had got a hip-hop division, and we had got signed. Okay. And we had got signed at a time where there's a lot of people getting shopped around at that time. So it was kind of funny when I look at his documentary of some sort and see that he was almost on the same path as us.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he didn't have to go to a whole bunch of other labels either. He had a few people he worked with, and that was what was happening to us. So, you know, that's how we, you know, began and didn't have to go through all the, you know, I'm glad we didn't have to do that. I didn't want to have no stories of like songs I heard, so that was good that we had got that.
Okay, so let's go back to the radio stations. I remember when you said radio station, I thought of the Awesome 2 radio show.
Right.
Half Pint show. And it was like another one. I think it was every Wednesday or if not every Saturday from 12 to 4 or 5 in the morning.
I know it was Pirate Radio was on 105.
Oh, yeah, Pirate Radio.
Red Bandit was on there. But definitely DNA, Hank Love was first, and then also two came on after that. And that's where like a lot of people don't realize it was a beauty salon called Billie Jean's, and then they like Ghostface had made a reference to that show because of that, because it was like a weekly commercial, and all the girls would go there, dudes go out. You hear them talk about barbershops, and you know that's when they was talking about the Jersey fade, and this one we didn't realize people in Brooklyn was getting the haircut we had in Jersey. But you listen to Hank Love and them, and they would tell you where to go get it from, as far as a haircut. So like that was, you know, and only reason why you knew about them because you was up late.
Yeah, because I was
on a Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, because I would normally stay up. It was Saturday from I think it was from 12. Because it was
it started at 12 and then it'd be over like 5.
Yeah, 5 in the morning.
Even Molly had a show on 105 at one time. Yeah, he had the Pirate Radio show too.
Yeah, Marley had one. That station, that Columbia station, they had another show too, besides Stretch Armstrong.
Right, because they stretching them started at Skinny Bones. Like it wasn't even called Stretch Armstrong. He had a whole other name, and then that's when he turned into Stretch Armstrong, and that's when he met Bob. Even with Bob, if you ever hear anybody say DJ Cucumber Slice, that's Bobito.
Yeah.
So that's when he started DJing.
Okay. And how was the room, that radio station?
Man, hey, I would say this. I've been up to Columbia a lot of times. And a lot of times with other artists I've met there, we met Hieroglyphics there the first time we went. Time we went up there, we met Pep Love. And then Pep told us that they was coming the next week. We came back and met the whole Hyro at Bob's show. A lot of cats, but the energy in the room. And I don't think that back then we thought about it in a way of like having pressure to spit. You know what I'm saying? It was, but as the years went on, because more people started coming, Biggie went up there. Nas went up there maybe like once or twice. Jay-Z went up there, Big L. So like we went up there early. So once people found out Cass was getting deals going up there, everybody started going.
Oh, so that's why.
So if you ever watched, they got actually a documentary for the radio show.
I've seen it.
Right. So if you looked at that movie, that's what it was like in the room. Anytime you came in there, because of how it built up, you had to go in there knowing that you got to perform and do your thing.
And that reminded me of in the doc, I think it was about cassettes. That they would get cassette tapes, like cassettes, like every night, a whole bunch, more than the usual cassette. Yeah. And they would have some of them they listen to, some of them they skip through, which is so
Trust
crazy.
me, I was up there at a time where it was just big hefty bags of tapes in there, and Stretch showed me. I was like, wow.
Oh.
And this was like like I said, at a time where people was figuring out like this is where you get hurt, and so they started sending their demos in, and you know, it's just like my man Eclipse on halftime radio. It's hard for them to get a lot of these tapes or CDs or whatever and listen to everything, you know. And then this is when the comedic part of the show started coming, because they would start playing a lot of these demos, and it was like hilarious, like the stuff they would play, and that's when the show got even more like intricate with playing music, playing demos, and then still have dudes come up to freestyle too. So that was like the range that they had. You know what I'm saying? They had New York until even when they went to Hot 97. It was even though it was a little different, it was still the same packaging.
So to me, I think it was way better at the pirate radio than Hot 97, because Hot 97 was like, you could tell it wasn't organic.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's how it works when you try to get it to the masses. You know, Stretch and Bob was something that you found on your own, but then when you did find it and you was part of a collective of people, you know, that like whether you was at work, whether you with your friends. I was going to work in the morning on Thursday, going to work on Friday, and I would have to buy 120-minute tapes because I knew that I would probably fall asleep.
Yeah.
At least if you and you won't hear that pop every time when the tape stop. So if you missed that, hopefully you got one side. If you see that you ain't turning it over, you got to call one of your friends like, yo, did you listen to the whole show? Like, yeah, and then they probably had a 120-minute tape. So you know, and all because, you know, even from the time we started going up there till we made our records, I always listened, even when they was off. My man Susio, he was up there at 89, and the tradition was still going. So, but like I said, you was making records, and then you would hope to hear them play it because you knew they was an underground station to go to.
It's like, to me, I felt like it was like the Billboard radio at that time.
Yeah, for everybody. Like, trust me, everybody you can name underground wise was up there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, everybody. I think even I'm not even sure if they had any West Coast or Midwest artists on there.
Besides Hyro, yes, a lot of cats came through there. Not a lot of mainstream people, artists, but I would say like as the shows went on later, before they even went to Hot 97, like this is when Jay-Z would go up there, and you know, Redman went up there, and then it was dope that these people started going because we all was, you know, the whole underground massive them been there. So it was good that they started getting more notoriety and more heavyweights to come. So that just showed that they was more official even, you know, throughout the world.
Yeah, it kind of put a stamp on that brand.
Right.
So you signed a Big Beat, because I heard of Big Beat before.
Yes, indeed.
But how big was Big Beat?
Big Beat started off as a house label, and at the time their biggest record was Robin S. So yeah, that was who they were. They were like a breakbeat record label. They had a group called the Nubian Crackers.
Okay.
And these two dudes, you know, they put break records out, and that's when me and Tame got our first record out, was with them, and we got a song called "Do You Want to Hear It."
Okay.
And that's the first time anybody heard Artifacts was on the Nubian Cracker record, and didn't even get signed yet, but we was on our way to doing it. But we was having that's when we was having the meetings. But we did a song with them because they were artists on their label, and they figured they already on here. Let's put y'all with them. And then as the years went on, Double X Posse was on there. Double X was the first hip hop group I seen on there, and then we came.
Okay.
And then later on, like my man Sean J. Period, he had a group called Down South. Then Skills came. So you know, definitely, Big Beat was a small imprint, but was on their way to doing other stuff. So that's when the hip hop stuff came, and we was a part of that. So that's, you know, it wasn't like we knew we wasn't going to a Def Jam. We knew we wasn't going to like Loud Records or something. But we helped turn the label that was a house record label into a hip hop imprint.
Yeah, I mean, Big Beat, because when I think of Big Beat, I think of Atlantic automatically.
Right. Look at even Junior Mafia was on there. Little Kim, you know, being on Atlantic.
You've been on Atlantic, on the Atlantic side.
Because Atlantic, actually, Big Beat got sucked in, and then it was no more, but it was like now it was just totally just Atlantic.
Yeah, why is that?
You know, sometimes it happens, you know, like where you have a smaller label, and if it ain't, I won't say doing as good, they usually just, you know, with different mergers, they just bring it in. And they brought it under the Atlantic umbrella, because it was just Big Beat as an independent label, but powered through Atlantic. But then Atlantic got, you know, they said, let's just bring it on, and we'll just release their records in a bigger way.
Okay.
And that's when we did the second album. So.
All right. I mean, Atlantic is still big right now.
Right, even to this day. Right?
To this day. Atlantic is even bigger than Def Jam.
Yep.
Because I think it was the other way around, where Def Jam was just bubbling.
Oh yeah.
Back
definitely. Then. You know, that's when they had the thing called Warner Brothers Elektra Atlantic.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's still, now it's just Warner. Atlantic is there, but it's Warner Brothers now.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, everything fall under that umbrella.
Indeed.
The smaller labels, I remember back then they had all these smaller labels, like real boutique labels.
Right.
Like Stepson, or is it Stetson?
Yep.
I think it was by the attorney, the big black guy, right? He started Billy Stepson, I think that was his name. And you see all these small boutique labels, then out of nowhere it's like there's no more. It's like each one.
Ruckus was like that.
Yeah, Ruckus. Yeah, Ruckus was another one too. Ruckus was like a great label.
Yeah. And it's like sometimes, you know, I don't know if we can curse. Sometimes shit get too big for your ass, and you know you want to be like a Def Jam. You want to be in with the big boys, but what come with that is a lot of expectation.
Yeah,
and the artists seem to look at it as like, okay, where my money at? Where this money at? So you know, this is what happened to Ruckus, where it just they try to be a machine that was like everything else, rather than staying in their lane and being just the underground hip hop label.
Yeah, at some point, Ruckus got away from being backpack, and it was going more towards the mainstream.
Right.
And when they did, and you kind of see they lose that value of Ruckus from the beginning. It's like I understand we're trying to evolve and change with the time, but I feel like they just did it too fast.
And you got to think, they would compete with a lot of other labels. When you look at Loud was an independent label.
Yeah.
That was powered through a big label. You know, you got somebody that actually believed in what they was doing.
And Loud was like powerhouse.
Exactly. And when you take chances like he did on certain groups that he signed, it worked out for him.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was like same thing for Atlantic, you know what I'm saying? Where later on, after we left, you know, they have, you know, Lupe come, and Lupe was not too far from where we from. But when you're talking about Lupe, you see how he is. One thing about Atlantic that's been like the issue with they won't let an underground artist be an underground artist because they are Atlantic. So when you talking about having me and Tame on there, we was the most rapidy rap group they ever had. Like on there, like as far as we were on a mainstream label as an underground act, and there were a lot of other labels that was like that too. And what happened with the big boys, we wasn't selling enough records,
enough units,
for them to keep us on there. Where most of the time, you know, these people were looking at us like we were tax write-offs. It might work, might not work. But we get even, we get even. But then, as you noticed, late 90s changed and all this stuff went where, like, it was to be independent back then was like almost like you don't want to be because it was these labels. I was glad. When we got off Atlantic, I was like, okay, now I can go to where I'm supposed to be at. I can go to Fat Beats, put records in their stores, work with Fat Beats, work with all these independent labels, and that's where I learned how to swim.
See, the thing with Fat Beats, right? It's like the thing about being independent back then. It's like you had to press, you know, how many CDs or how many vinyls, how many cassettes to press up,
right? And
just have enough for your promo and enough for the retail stores, which was a lot of work back then.
Right. See, but this is when you got all the labels. This is when it was just mostly vinyl, and then the CDs came. Then the vinyl went away. Then CDs doing their thing. Then digital come. Tapes and CDs go away. And then you're now in this digital world. And where we at now? Going backwards. And again, now we're going back to the vinyl. The vinyl been growing over the last 10 years. And not just underground artists are pressing late records up now. You go, Taylor Swift got vinyl. Adele got vinyl. You know, it's you still got to tap in to this medium because with the digital shit, it hit the ceiling. You know, shit can't be so clean where it's like, you know, after a while, you're like, yo, I missed the dirt.
Yeah.
And this is where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? Where I say this to people, it's funny to them, but it's still the truth. We living in a digital age, but we are from the analog. So in this market, you have to have USB turntables, USB boombox, USB everything, because we're going back to a time when these kids growing up now, when they see a record player and they like, damn, what's that? I'm like, oh my God. Like you see movies or a TV show where people see a rotary phone. They're like, what is, how you use it? There's no buttons to press. We're in this age where when you watch Jurassic Park movies, I say this makes sense. Think about it.
Okay.
When they had Jurassic World movie, they had that new dinosaur. It's a hybrid, mixed him up with all these different other animals. I don't care, cloaking device, all these different, you know, and even the raptor. And so at the end of the movie, the girl called the dude, was like, open up the cage. What they had to do? Go get the old dinosaur to fight the new dinosaur. Well, that is what's happening right now. Underground artists that's older are living in the digital world and surviving, doing shows, putting out records, and the young cats that was popping a couple of years ago ain't popping now. And because the digital age is working for the old dinosaurs, it's hard to kill the old dinosaur. So to get the old dinosaur to come out to fight the new dinosaur, it took the T-Rex, it took the raptor, and it took the monster in the water to bring him down. So when you talk about the generation we in now, it's funny that you have to mix the old with the new. This is the bridge that we've been trying to connect for a lot of years, where you got the young cats feel like the older dinosaurs don't want to mess with them. We telling them, no, we want to, but y'all gotta understand where we coming from and why we want y'all to still use the formulas and tools that we use to today. And when you look at certain artists like Kendrick, you look at J. Cole, you look at Drake, of course, these are the three main acts right now that was over the last few years running everything. In some way, too, they have to come together because it can't be this separate when you got all these different genres and artists and music. Cause these are the most three lyrical dudes in this generation. They grew up around the old dinosaurs, so they understand what it is.
Yeah, and they understand lyrics.
And they understand to be lyrical, but they're all being lyrical in a way for themselves to be where they want to be. It's just that Kendrick just so happened got sucked into something that he probably didn't think he was going to do. And he said, wow, you know what? I made all these other songs right here, all this other stuff over here. And I saw him write something and say, this is where I didn't want to be at as far as the music I wanted to make. Like, I wanted to stay far away from that, but because I'm where I'm at, he embraced it.
Yeah.
But this is where I'm saying, I could name a few artists over the years that had that same quality. Red Cafe.
Okay.
This dude, you know, we know who he is. He was like a mini version of Jay-Z, but it's just that when you don't have the big machine behind you, he's still probably doing this thing today. I see him doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just that when these sprinkles come, you have to, it's like lightning in a bottle for everybody. You got to take the chance when you got it. So we've had, and now we're here. We're here now. Like I said, there's a lot of older artists making a lot more music and putting it out than a lot of the younger cats over the last few years. So this is a testament to to the craft and the culture, and as an older person, you still looking for that style of music. So you have dudes like Elzai, you have dudes like my man Fat Cat, Detroit. Detroit always don't win, but it's just like you look for new artists to bring that quality, and sometimes it's not as many people, artist wise, that's keeping the torch lit.
No, I understand what you mean. It's like, see, I like when I see that. It's like they keep true to the craft,
right,
and to the culture, and without. I mean, you can water it down, but not all the way completely.
Because even the little dudes feel like Kendrick too lyrical for them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, when I hear that, I'm like, wow, like that's crazy because he's in y'all age range, and y'all think he too deep. I'm like, but a person like me was like, yo, at least I have something to grasp onto.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what I grew up with. So
I would listen
deal
to it.
with it.
Yeah,
right?
You're right. It's like my nephew. It's like he'll listen. I'm like, you like Kendrick? He's like, no.
Why he say that?
Like you said, it's like the lyric.
It's over,
lyric. Like too.
It's over his head.
I'm like, what is about lyric you understand? He's like, I understand what he's talking about. It's like he's always saying this. It doesn't make sense. His voice changed.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's just his style. He's like, he can't pass it.
Yeah, but I'll tell him. But you can tell him, like, if he wasn't like that now today, he could be today in our time back then. And still be the same person, and we would get it. Just like when De La Soul came out, we couldn't understand what they were saying at first, but it was just like, oh, just the words are bigger. Yeah. And you got to know what them words mean to understand what they're talking about, to put them together. So, this is, Kendrick is that kind of artist. So that's why he get a lot of older dudes to mess with him.
I like that. Yeah, I like when they bridge the gap between old and young, young and old.
That's what you get, like, because the older people now, we at a point where we're like, yo, just give me something. Give me something reminiscent of what, even if it's an older person who's not so into hip hop today. Because I tell all my friends, like, yo, if y'all not into it like you used to, guess what? This dude's still making records. These dudes making records. And then until they go on Google and check it, oh, wow, that's because you out of the loop.
Yeah.
They not out of the loop. It's you. Because they can't seem to find where the new stuff at. But it's all in their phone.
Yeah.
Because of the style. It's like people still don't understand the algorithm on IG. They don't know why they getting certain videos come up, because when you like something, that thing that you like, now that thing that's like that thing you like gonna keep coming in your feed. Yeah. And then until you like something else. And then they're like, oh, wow, that's how it works. Like, that's like when you like stuff. Even when I had to understand when I'm on my Google and I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, oh, then I go on Instagram. Everything I just looked at in Google is in my Instagram. Like, hey, yo, it's like magic, but it's not. Yeah. It's just what I just understand that everything in this entertainment industry is connected in some kind of way, but it's gonna connect you to what you go for.
Yeah, and what you're looking for.
Exactly. Too. So they'll, like you said, you can play on YouTube right now, 90s video, and then you just get all 90s videos all on the stream. When you start looking at the videos, everyone that come up, you can play one of my videos today, and surprisingly, it'll go to a Sky Zoo video afterwards. Yeah. It'll go to a Griselda, because they feel like, hey, it's in that range. No different than when I put my music on Apple. So this new album that we have out right now, The Unexpected, when they put it on the playlist, it's in the Flowetry playlist. It's in the Bars playlist. Yeah. And when you go on the Bars playlist, who in there? All the underground dudes is in there. But it's everybody, not just a mainstream or underground, because now the playing field is so even. We're all able to get on Apple now, where when before you were just on a mainstream label, and because you on a mainstream label, they would pick you up. Go on Tidal. I got records on Tidal. I got records on everything. But it's just the fact that if you're not making current music, you won't be on the current playlist. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And when it's like you look at the playlist, and the Flowetry playlist is for MCs that's thought-provoking, deep. I don't like this term, but they say lo-fi.
They call it lo-fi?
Lo-fi. I mean, I don't like.
Oh yeah, I don't like that.
I don't know what that is. Y'all, hey, people out there, when y'all watch me say this, I don't know what y'all talking about.
Is it low?
When y'all say lo-fi, y'all might as well say Jay Dilla, because that's what all the beats sound like. A lot of and that's the algorithm when the chill beats. They all be, they say, oh, lo-fi.
Yeah.
Classics. I'm like, no, that's just how Tribe Called Quest music used to sound, and all of us at a certain time. But it's just today they're gonna term it that. We got all these different terms back. How they underground hip hop, backpack hip hop, boom bap. Oh man, there's so many different. You can label it whatever.
Do you?
But when it comes to the sound of it, to that page of people, new people today, lo-fi is boom bap, y'all. Lo-fi is underground hip hop. It's just they change the names every couple of years, because people growing up to hip hop. So when you started off as a kid, if your uncle, your father, brother was playing these MCs back then, and like my son, 21, it bugs me out that J Live is one of his favorite artists.
Oh, J
And
Live?
I'm telling him J Live my friend. But he remembered me playing J Live records as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So now that he's older, he's able to take it upon himself to go into this world to figure, and I sometimes hear him singing stuff. And I'm like, yes, because you're like dad, so you're not gonna go the wrong way. But he don't like a lot of new stuff because he like everybody. Smith and Wesson, anything Smith and Wesson new, KRS new, Pharoah Monch new. But they're older artists.
And the funny thing is they all actually have a solid fan base.
Right.
And every one of them have the core fan base.
Yep. But for some reason, he latched onto it through me, no different than the video games. But it's just that whatever he got out of it, he got it in a way of where he understands that this is how my dad does music too. So his friends listen to my music. This is where we at, bridging the gap with these kids, how it got to start.
I think it's the energy too. It's like when you listen to like Smith and Wesson or Wu-Tang or you or whoever, it's like you get a different energy, a different vibe from listening to somebody on the radio.
Right, and you believe us more than the radio cats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they know we're not coming from one place. You know what I'm saying? We coming from a lot of different places as far as an MC as MCing goes.
Yeah.
And when you're good at it, you're able to adapt. You're able to make certain songs and still come back to be rappity rap too. And I say that a lot because I always feel like today, it's like how you dude felt about Kendrick, and that's rappity rap. Like rappity rap, when you overdoing it to somebody who don't understand the rappity rap stuff, they just feel like, yo, this shit is like, wow, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
A lot of words, a lot of flows. But this is the average person who just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to, I tell dudes to go look at every documentary you can look at, all the beef documentaries, those are the ones you'll learn from rather than watching the reality shows, because you got to understand, these kids growing up with their artists that go from music to TV, and it's not as substantial. So they watching train wrecks all day until they get with somebody that one friend that don't do all that shit, and that one friend play all this other stuff, and you ain't into. You hang with him long enough, he'll have you listening to that stuff too.
Yeah, they're like, oh wow,
and then you be turned on. That's how it works. Even weirdly today, because it's all in these phones and tablets, and this is how people get turned on to a lot of stuff. So I think with us being older, to tap into the young people in the way they know how to, and that's with this phone and with visuals.
Do you like the different subgenre in hip hop? There's like the crunk, the slow, the drill.
But it always been like that, even for us. We had the thugged out. You had the Big Willie stuff. You had but this is where it started becoming this. The subgenres. So when the early '90s, you just had groups coming out. It wasn't no genre of it. It was just Tribe Called Quest, P Rock and Still Smooth, Beat Nuts, Alcoholics, Organized Confusion, Artifacts, and these were just groups. Yeah. These were just Razzcast, Supernat. You could go down, you know what I'm saying, Craig G. you know, and a lot of these dudes still making records today. Look at Razzcat's son is in the group Coast Contra. That show you right there the influence of having a person like Razzcat's around you, and these are his kids, rap just as good as him today. But it was just off of the way he brought them up. So, you know, it's kind of ill how all this works, but it's just still in teaching.
And it's crazy. Everybody you just mentioned, more than half of them already released album within the last 2 or 3 years.
Right. Look, Mon's about to put out an album, you know, with a whole nother label, with Rock Nation. He done worked with Loud, Duck Down. You know what I'm saying? This is the testament of greatness when it comes to lyrical ability. And the reason why Smith & Wesson making records today, the reason why we all still, because it goes back to a time of being hungry. It goes back to a time of being eclectic and being special with your words, your wordplay, your aura, your personality. And the reason why I sound like I'm the old man, somebody get off my lawn, is because the practices of the older time is not here today. So a lot of dudes that's 50 plus still making records today, but they feel like it's still their job to put this out there, that this style of music still exists. Whether you have Rakim making his own beats and doing scratches on his records, this is the time of evolution. And, you know, it's still to be take noted for people that's not as serious as we are, because you got to be serious if you're making records today in your 50s.
Yeah.
Where a lot of cats didn't think they would still be making records in their 40s. So you know, it's weird to say, you know, but we still revered in the way of, like, you know, where it's like almost like EPMD. So what you're saying video, when you think about it now, when them dudes all had their hoods on walking in the sewer, that meant something. That meant that was we gonna always be like this, because even they still making records.
Yeah, they still making records. So looking back now, so when you were signed with Big B / Atlantic, what was the biggest lesson that you learned from being on a major?
Damn.
Or you learned from that record?
I learned a lot of business from going to the label. I ain't just talking about just going up there to have a meeting and leave. I used to be up there chilling, eating lunch, sitting at people's desks, see my name on shit, like, what's this? Asking everybody, like, what do? You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wanted to know about all of that stuff, you know, and I wanted to pay attention to what was happening, because I knew we wasn't going to be on that label forever. I knew we wasn't going to be like LL with Def Jam, all that stuff like that. So I just paid attention to a lot of stuff until we did get off the label, and then to go independent. The one thing about that I learned was whatever me and Tame did on Atlantic really registered to people when we left.
Okay.
So it was open season being independent. It wasn't, you didn't have the big machine behind you, but then it wasn't so much I understood of it being a loan. Y'all loaning us this money to make all this stuff to pay y'all back. If it works out, cool. If it don't, there's no sweat off their back. Like I said, tax write-off.
Did you leave owing Atlantic?
Nah, well, when you're not selling records and you spending money, there ain't no money, because you got to pay that shit back. But today, it's funny you say that. Today, it's things that happened over the last couple of years where these labels, when they were situations like that, is they have a thing called a legacy program.
Okay.
So I don't care what label you was on. Sony is doing this right now. Atlantic, Warner Brothers. If you was signed before the year 2000, they know they ain't been paying nobody money for these sales, recoupment. So they let all that go. Atlantic, I don't know how many other labels are doing it, but Warner Brothers is doing it, where they are paying us, not say for back residuals, but let's just say whenever this digital streaming shit started, I would say maybe 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And a couple of lawsuits that have been going on in the industry led these labels to say, you know what? We did a lot of these people dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of groups that we can't get in touch with. Like, I talked to them, and they had my phone number from when we first had the deal back in the 90s. I'm like, wow, like, I don't even live over there no more. I done moved like 5 times since I've been over there.
They still have your info.
Right, so them updating everything, them knowing what's going on in these systems where they say, you know, hey, we owe y'all at least this much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I say this to say, like, this is like also a qualification. So if anybody that been signed to any labels in the 90s, I don't give a fuck what it was, at least try and ask and see if you able to qualify for the legacy program. And this is with all labels. And I've guided some of my friends to doing it, and because I found out about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's public knowledge, it's public record. You can go on Google right now and put in legacy program for artists and from the 90s now. They're obligated to take care of us, because what you got to understand is when we signed these contracts, there was no digital anything, so nobody knew this was going to happen. So you're talking about cats, you know, they have been signed since 93, 94, and if you only got paid one time, now is your time to call these people and get right, because, you know, it's also for not just your past. They ain't going back to 94. They ain't going back that far. But today, you'll be able to, you know, get your money for, if you was if your deal was straight, and your paperwork was good and everything, you know, there's a lot of things happening that you can eat off of this, where if you don't own your masters, you still obligated to something.
Okay. So when you left Atlanta, it's like, you took everything with you, your song, your
yeah,
catalog?
well, see, that's the thing, no. They still own those records, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But through licensing, and because of now, more even because our info is up to date.
Yeah.
Just recently, they did a whole new Artifacts re-release, but the vinyl is gold.
Okay.
So that was licensed from Warner Brothers. I was looking at that like, whoa, what's going on? I'm looking online, see these records. I didn't, because these labels don't have to tell you that they're doing any of this stuff. But if your contract was straight with them, and, you know, the only thing, you know, you see from these labels is your publishing, because they're not pressing up records unless they do a special edition, reissue or something like that, like they just did with us. Of course, we'll see the payment from that. But no, we can't. We've done stuff. Stuff has been done where you can get reissues of vinyl and stuff like that. Even if it wasn't on Atlantic doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because over the years, you try to do stuff. It's not about being slick, but it's also about what rules applied back then don't apply now. So, you know, we've done stuff in the years where you just don't get caught. But then that shit catch up to you. And that's when you got to abide by the rules. But this is why I say, if your paperwork is straight and these labels do what they're supposed to do, and you're good, you'll get the real money from what the label do for our licensing. Okay. So I would say, you know, Tame was very fortunate to do a lot of things right. We never had stories where we got jerked or anything like that, signed paperwork and don't get done right. So when we left Atlantic, we left with our name.
That's good.
That we made sure of, even when we signed the contract. Like, my lawyer was not an entertainment lawyer. He was a lawyer. Like you won't see him on TV, entertainment lawyer and stuff like that. Like, even like, you know, but he told me, I'm not an entertainment lawyer, but I'm looking at this shit right here, and I know y'all not gonna be on that label for too long. Not to say it like that, but y'all not gonna be on there forever. And I was like, yeah. He said, why don't y'all, because labels like back then, half the time wouldn't give you publishing.
Oh.
If you lucky, and we got half. So here it is, me and Tame together, splitting this. But then I was like, you know, if this don't work out, we leaving with our name and we get to use it everywhere else. And y'all good with that. And we kept the name for us for merchandising, whatever we would make.
Okay.
They don't get none of that. We take care of that on our own. So yeah, we walked with our head up, even if it was through a breakup. But I never would call me and Tame breaking up. We just went our separate ways for a few years to actually find ourselves, and you know, then we got back together in 2008.
Okay, so that's good. Hold on. So you said the record went gold?
No, actually, so they made I may clear it up, bro. So this reissue that just came out, they make, you know, color vinyl.
Oh, okay.
So they made a gold.
Okay.
Gold, but it does look official when you look at it. Though it looked like it was actually gold record. But and we do have one from the high school. This movie, High School High, back in the day. Makai Fiver was in it, and
is it the cover with Afro?
Yes,
pig?
indeed. Well, okay. Yeah. So that still get paid for that too. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And because of this new stuff that's happening, we come to find out, you know, still owe money from this soundtrack.
Oh. So
this is how things work when when your business on point.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. That was a gold record, and because of us, a lot of other record groups that was on there. One of my favorite songs, Rap World by P Rock, and Lost Professor is on there. Wu Wear's on there. So to get an opportunity to be on something like that, and they was almost at the tail end of that record, and we was working on the album. And they said, y'all got to come up with a song. I'm like, for what? It's like, they doing the soundtrack. We like, what? They showed us the list of all the people that was already on it. It was like, oh my God. So that day, we made the ultimate.
Okay.
Reeve took that record to the label the next day. And they was like, thank you. Because we didn't know. We making all these songs for the album. And then Reeve come, y'all got to make one of these songs, one of these going to be for the soundtrack. We're like, damn, why you ain't telling us we could have been made some shit for that?
Yeah.
But then we just happened to do that. And he went, when we made that song, Reeve went uptown while he heard the hook playing. And he ran, he said, yo, I'll be right back. Wasn't no Uber, he wasn't taking a cab from all the way on Broadway down by Tower Records, all the way back uptown. Damn. But he did catch a train, and he came right. It was like less than 2 hours. He back. He got the Ultimate 3 MCs record. Put it on Ultimate. Oh wow, okay. He said now it's dope. Now it's dope. Well, yeah, because you ain't got the record. So we cut that in, and the label loved it and got in the movie.
So the music fit the motif.
Yes,
of the
and it
whole
was a scene when they was in the gym. So it's the gym scene when they was in school. So it actually played in the movie. So anytime we get money for that, it's from off. Now it's probably gonna be like a freebie or Tubi stage, shit like that. So if the paperwork right, you get taken care of.
Because a lot of artists from way back then, it's like they're talking about how they never receive a check, or they probably receive one check throughout their whole career from the label. Even
that's the one they give you the advance one.
Yeah.
After that, you won't see because you got paid back. That whatever when you thought that was dope to get 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, hey, before you see any money, bro,
you gotta pay back.
You gotta recoup that. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, wow. So when you talking about getting money, but even when you get that contract, they're not giving you half of that. They're giving you a quarter of that just so you can eat and live. Like, come on, all the stories we ever seen in movies, these dudes half the time was coming straight off the block. Some people coming straight out of school. So this was not something that you can play with where you shooting videos. You have a budget. And some people thought a budget meant like, no, this is my living budget. No, this is your recording budget and your video budget. You can't add like your life budget into that because you got to pay back. So, you know, a lot of artists got caught out there like that. So they didn't understand what that money was for, what it meant. So, you know, we didn't get to any of that.
Oh, so what was your marketing budget then? Because I know to advertise in a magazine like Source back then, it was at least, what, 6 figures?
Yeah, but then when you talking about stuff like that, you know, Source magazine ad back then was like $2,500. Mm-hmm. So,
oh yeah, there was
you paying for that,
right on all these other
right? You paying for Street Team, mm-hmm. Promote your record. You know, there's a lot of costs that come into play when you're doing stuff like that. So like I don't think people thought about that. You know, so like any budgets we had, everything had to fit in that video. Wrong side of the tracks, I could say back then was maybe like 50-something thousand.
That video?
Yeah. Oh, when we did that, we had animation in it, and the director we had, and then but when we got to like, come on to get down, budget went up a little bit more, 70,000. Then we did Ultimate, that shit was like 80-something thousand, almost 100,000. And then you sit back, it looked dope. It does. And I think today, for the scaled back versions of videos we do today, you understand why they were costing so much. You're paying for this light dude, Grip Boy, all these other people, you know, just for him to fly through the day and not have to do a lot of this camera stuff on his own. But then it's like, we'll never go back to making videos like that with those costs. All right. The big lights and all this stuff like that. So,
because of
understanding all that now today compared to back then, you know what I'm saying? Like having a budget of food when you're in the studio. At one time we wilded out. Ordered pizza, food. Everybody came to the studio. After that one day, we had our budget went from $50 and then it went to $25. Because that's what I mean about you not realizing. You know, we having master sessions. Salute my brother Tom Coyne, rest in peace. Every time we had a master session with him, because they know it's not coming out of our pocket. It's coming out of the budget. So even if you have a set budget, you might go over that budget. Yeah. And you know, but he knew, hey, they paying for it. No, we're paying for this. You know what I'm saying? So we really started understanding, like, damn. You know, you start learning that everything ain't what you thought it was gonna be, or what you might have perceived it to probably be. So but you learn fast. You learn that shit fast, and you stop it, and you just understand that you do the minimum. You know, and sometimes when being with the label, it was not like we had a choice. You know what I'm saying? We doing what we doing. I remember my man Justo, rest in peace to him too. He told us we had a whole smorgasbord of people. We was in Roscoe's in L.A. and we had like an industry listening party at Roscoe's. I mean, every rap person, MC8, Warren G, we was like, oh shit, why niggas have been the fight? Then dude, it's mad people here eating and shit. I remember Justin came to me. He said, I just want you to remember what I told you. I said, what? This shit too? He said, oh yeah. He said, you see this card in my hand, nigga? He said, this shit, everybody in here. I was like, word. I was like, yo, I was like Dave Chappelle. Oh, word. No. Nigga, I went around that whole damn restaurant like, yo, that's enough. No more, nobody. I was like, yo, nobody ordered no more food. That's it. They were back there cooking more. I mean, nah, we ain't paying for it. My man Justo was dying.
Is it Justo for the mixtape DJs?
Yes, okay. Yes, indeed. Started all that mixtape awards. He worked at Atlanta. He was like, you know, take us out on the road. And when he said that, and he reminded me, anytime we were spending money, he was like, remember what I told you? I was like, oh, yeah, cut it out. So when you get by yourself, after all that, and when you realize that money ain't really yours, but the money is yours when you doing what you're doing, and like, I remember I called Atlantic one time and asked him, like, how much does it say we have? This lady ain't have to do none of this. But I got so deep into the phone calls, but I got to the lady that was in charge of telling me that. She said, you need about 300,000 something like to recoup. I was like, whoa. I was like, damn, what was we doing?
Wow.
What was we doing?
300.
Right. So now this is like recoup. So now you're talking about 2022, 23 is when the program started. And when they said, that's it, y'all don't owe this back, good. Because all y'all going to offer me is all that digital stuff over there, and I'll take it. Let's go. I'll take it all. Let's go.
Well, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because with your first album, you only released like 3 singles, and with that's them released like 2 singles.
Yeah, and we only had 1 video for the second album. We had 2 for the first one. And I just remember my man Ben. Mm-hmm. Ben worked at the label, and before we got released, he said, "El, just remember one thing: you're only as good as your last record." And where you want to take that, I congratulate y'all on whatever y'all did here. I just want to tell y'all, don't nobody give a fuck about what y'all doing. Shook my hand and he walked away. I was like, wow. And you know, that's when the truth hit you, because yeah, it's the truth. Even still to this day, I'm only able to make records because I'm good at doing the stuff I'm doing, mm-hmm. to where people want features and still offer a deal, and it's very independent. You know what I'm saying? This is not like getting that, you know, 25,000 and me and Tane split that up mm-hmm. front. It's none of that. It's really just as far as you go, and you want to take yourself. And today, of course, is more serious because it's not about being a rap star. It's about work. It's about getting out there. I never thought that I would still be doing this. All of a sudden, I started when I was 23. Mm-hmm. I'm 54 now. I use it to the best of my ability, pay bills, everything like that. So for some people where it was like a dream, dream came true when we signed the paper, but the work started as well when you signed the paper, and the work still stands today. Like, again, I didn't think I had in my mind, you know, I never thought I'd be wearing a Bill Cosby sweater at 50, because that's what we all see ourselves at when you get to these ages. Like, oh, let me get my Mr. Rogers sweater, my Dex, and there's no rap no more. Look at that, we still on stage.
Now, see, I disagree with what you said. Because
and that's what I thought.
No, that's what I
but it's up to me, mm-hmm. to like I said, to still be good at it.
Yeah.
To where you know, I do shows and cats be like, "Yo, I'm glad you're still here. I never saw you live before." So, and here I'm the last person in my group, mm-hmm. so it means more to me now, today, because when you got the older dudes come, they got their nephew with them, sons with them, you know, and it reminds me of myself. Yeah. I'm hoping my son will want to get into the shit I'm into. So when I see these dudes like that, it just takes me to where I'm like, okay, you could be doing something else. You could not hear none of these people talk about me and Tame and Chaos in this way. But I always tell my friends, this is like being on the block. It's hard to stop. The money could be easy, mm-hmm. but in order to do all of this stuff, you still have to perform breath control. You still have to look the part. It's about giving back. It's about still having standards in your music, carrying your music, and you know, be good at it. Like, it's not hard to tell people, but because a lot of the people that I know either want to do what I'm doing or aspire to do it, so they always have questions, and I give them the same answer all the time. You gotta make some hot shit. That period. Like, something, and it has to be consistent. Okay. All the time. It can't be no drop off. Like, every album you make, every record you make, for me, it's got to be here. It can't be nowhere here. It's either here, mm-hmm. or nothing. Okay. So, but what is still the same is the way I have to present myself to be like how they say to scare bears away. You gotta make yourself extra big.
Yeah.
To let this dude see you ain't playing.
Mm-hmm.
So with the music, it's still the same way. People know I'm not on a mainstream level. They know it's still independent. So anything they see, that's like, you know, and I'll say this, in the next few months, because I don't want to say it now, because I know I don't want to jinx nothing, but in the next few months, starting this month, all the way into the summer, into the fall, people are going to see things and hear things, and they'll see where I'm going with it and where I've been in the last few years, where they be like, okay, I get it now. Because this game is also about adapting. That's all it has ever been about, adapting and evolution to still be in people's ears and in front of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a lot of us that get to still eat and still work. So, but like I said, that's a testament to hard work and stick-to-itiveness.
It's like, I like that. No Expiration Date album. It's like you did that with Buck Wild.
Actually, me and Tame, the last record we did together was with Buck Wild, and that was called No Expiration Date. I love that record for the fact that we actually completed it, for not making an album in so many years. And I'm glad it was with Buck. And it's funny that we're talking about this record because I'm actually going to release a remix of the album, a bunch of different producers. And yes, we will shoot videos for these records, even with Tame not being here. There's different ways of making things happen, and without AI neither. We're gonna use film. Buck was an integral part of our history. Come on to get down. What's up now? Attack of New Jerusalem. He produced those tracks on the first album, including the remix with Busta. So it was like us going back in time doing this record with him. But the unexpected is me and my brother Mint Plus. Now, Mint Plus is a producer from Jersey. He was born in Brooklyn, though. He's from here.
Okay.
But he grew up in Jersey. I knew him being a producer that worked with a lot of my other friends. And I heard a beat tape he did with this other producer, and I was like, damn. And I knew people that knew him, and we met, got together, and we put this record. Over the years, we've been putting all these songs together, and to get them to get actually mixed and mastered finally. And that would for me to do a record with Mint, upcoming producer. I watched him go from here to here with just the release of this record. Being a producer is almost like being an MC, and when you do showcases and beat battles, it's almost the same kind of competition.
Okay.
So Mint, he went through all of the avenues he could go into to get his name heard as being a producer from where we from.
Okay.
From where we from, you know, you have Illmind, who's like now one of the biggest producers. Got Oscars, Emmys, all this stuff. Moana, Hamilton dude he worked with. So, you know, I see Mint in the same way as a producer. So to do this record, it was a treat, and to put it out to the world was pretty much to let them know who he was, and anybody I'm working with is just making me. Every release I put out I'm reinventing myself all over again. So
okay,
that's I look at Mint as a person that's gonna shine, but brings me out as well.
I like that. So with that project, did you guys record? How many songs did you guys record? Like 40, 50?
Nah, see, that's what I'll say to that. Me and Tame never recorded a whole bunch of songs. Like what y'all heard on them albums, what we did.
Oh, that was
it. Was never though. When we was making those albums, we didn't do a whole bunch of songs. We're like, all right, you know, these are right. Let's pick these. We was like, no, every song when we go in the studio, this is a song we doing, and we looked at it as a single.
Oh, okay.
So every song we doing is gonna be great. We gonna make sure there's no room, nothing on the cutting room floor. So, and we only had time to make those records because it's not like we had a RZA or in-house producer that was like how CL Smooth had a Pete Rock.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Common had Pete Rock with his last record he did. So we didn't have that. So what we had was hired hands.
Oh, because I thought Ty was like the in-house producer, the one that worked on the first album.
Right. So like on our first album, the most T-Ray.
Yeah, T-Ray. Yeah,
T-Ray did the most records on there because T-Ray brought to the table. How can I say? He was the foundation of the record.
Okay.
He was what we built on, but like he went from foundation to first, second, and third floor.
Mm-hmm.
Buck Wild added a bunch of floors, and Redman added the damn penthouse because he was he wasn't a producer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Rockwaller, you know what I'm saying? Him and Rockwaller were together on that song, and that was like their first. Why would I say no? I knew Red made beats, but I knew of Rockwaller from being with him. So that first album and working with them to then going to work with Sean J. Period. Like Sean J. Period was T-Ray on the second album.
Mm. Okay.
And then we worked with Beat Miners and VIC from Beat Nuts. And my man Rhino working on the song with Tame.
Wow.
We looked at all of these records as this is going to be the song, this going on the record. But we didn't sit back and make a whole bunch. We did it probably one song, and we didn't even care about it because we was making one song and the shit wasn't coming out right. And this is funny. This is real funny too. Me and T-Ray made the "What's Up Now" motherfucker track together, and Tame wasn't there. And when we was having a session, the song wasn't coming out right because it was a demo that we had on our demo tape, and we was actually making it over, and it was just sounding too clean. It was that, and we was like, yo, this shit ain't right. And then Reef was like, yo, put that beat on that y'all made the other day. Tame was like, what beat? I said, the beat we made when you didn't come. And when that shit came on, I'm going to say, when you listen to the song today, and I explained it to people, what's up now, motherfucker? When you listen to the song, you hear Tame in the background when the intro was playing. And when it got to me start my verse, he's screaming in the back on his ad-lib track because he was so like, what is this beat? Because he didn't know, I didn't get a chance to play it for him. Mm. So the first time he heard it was in the studio when we recorded it. And then, like I said, that became a song because we didn't have, we was, we were highly upset that it wasn't coming out right. When that shit came on, we sat and wrote this shit right there. And Tame bodied that shit on his second verse. And it was just like, things like that reminded me of why me and him even got together in the first place. Mm-hmm.
So this was like during the ADAT days with with the big reel?
Yeah, man. Them big reels. Hey, yo, I'll tell y'all this. Back then, there wasn't no punching. You could tell when people was getting punched in songs back in the day. So imagine on this big reel, you wanting to not do it over. You only punch because you ain't want to do it again. Mm-hmm. So the guy would have to go and line the tape up with this thing and slice it on the tape thing. It would be a line. It'll be a guide thing where you cut it.
I seen somebody do it once,
and then they can put it back, tape it back together. Mm-hmm. So much so, like a cassette. Yeah. If anybody know about tape busting and breaking back then, you had to open the tape, unscrew the damn whole thing out, take the part that's broke, cut that with a scissor, tape it with the smallest piece of tape that you can make, and put the two tape ends together. Now we doing this with a tape that's a half inch. Yeah. Half inch, they go in and doing that and make sure that is perfect enough because you don't know where you cutting it at.
No,
you getting it. They're literally spinning the reel to get to where the part is at that you want to, and then cutting it, and only cutting it a little bit because the more you cut, you might go into the verse or the next word or something like that. So they cutting it like that to put it back together, and just like the tape cassette, it had to be a small piece of tape because you still had to run it through so it can get past that. And sometimes people wasn't good at that when they cassette, and you be in the car and then it get to that part. You know it's gonna get to that part. Nobody else don't know, and your tape stopped, and you can't do it then. So you just bust it.
You missed the physical days?
Yes, I mean, well, I do physical today. So, but yeah, this is when you knew you was making money too. Like this digital shit, people don't like it, especially the old heads don't like it, but you can't touch it. You know, I still press vinyl. Fat Beats, a lot of these labels we signed to still press vinyl. It may not be as many as it used to be, 300, 500. That's the most they'll press. Okay. But they scared. You know, they don't know if it's going to sell like that. You know, but this is the game. This is what we in. Everything is a game of chance. You don't know what's going to happen when you put all these records out. But because it's still wanted, they still make it.
Yeah, it's like the new norm. The new norm
so like I said, Adele messed up the whole industry for a year or two when she pressed up her record. No lie, I swear to God, y'all, no lie. The label, the pressing plants, only was pressing up her record because it was mandatory. There's a couple this is when COVID was going on too. So I forget which. Don't get me the line. Whatever record, her last record she did. If she put out something new, it was one before that. Okay. But it was when me and Tame was getting our record pressed up. So it was like 2020, 2021. The whole industry was at a standstill because of Adele's record. Now, because there's so many pressing plants, they can handle some of this stuff. But this was like a major record. So all these pressing plants is mostly in Europe. So if they pressing all this stuff, I mean, like, it was on hold for everybody. I was like, damn, that's power. That's power right there in the name. So much so, you know, Taylor Swift went through it, but because now is they learned from that. Yeah. And there was a couple of plants that burned. It was one that burned down in Germany. There's a company in Amsterdam that does pressing now too. So, but it just show you that even Adele needs some records pressed up.
Because I remember back then the days, there used to only be like 3 pressing records in the whole United States. Yep. I think there was one.
That was one in L.A.
Yeah, one in L.A.
Rainbow Records.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, they moved. They shut down.
They shut down.
Yeah.
There was another one like around Mississippi, Alabama area.
I forgot the name of that. I know what you're talking about.
Then there was one like up north. There was like the only 3 power plant where they press vinyls.
Yeah, now it's like outside of this Canada. There's UK pressed up a lot of stuff now too.
There's disc makers in the US.
Yeah, disc makers still. Yeah, and even Bandcamp offers vinyl pressing.
Yeah, they do.
But they only press vinyl if you do pre-orders over 250. If you do 250 pre-orders, they'll make the 300 for you. But only because you did the pre-orders. So and that's like what's going on today. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like these people they say, okay, y'all want to be independent? Let's show we're gonna do it this way. Being that you a star, we want to see how much of a star you are. Let's can you get at least 250 people of your people to, you know, do a pre-order? And some people do it. But it's only if you got a fan base. Yeah, everybody not gonna be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good thing to try. Like me myself, I'm ready to press up my own records as well because it's about investment in yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's time when you start understanding that especially with doing shows, booking agencies and stuff like that. When you start seeing that slowdown is when you got to start thinking of yourself like how James Brown did when he's like, yo, I got to start doing my own shit.
Yeah.
I got to start investing in myself to say, let's book our own shows. Let's get with these clubs and talk to the people that own them rather than getting a promoter who's going to get with 3 of his friends to pay us to do the show. And then they might not do good, promotion for the show.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather do this shit myself and kill myself. I'd rather die on my own and in a crazy way than let somebody else kill me.
Okay.
And then they make money off the shit too.
Good
So,
point.
I'm at it, and I think this is a lot of us, where we have to understand that this is not a young man's game, but it's also a businessman's game, and where you want yourself to. I know where I'm at. I know I see the horizon in the way of where I can still make records. I can still travel and tour. But I understand also I'm not going to be doing that for the next. I'll give myself 5 years.
5 years?
To do what I'm doing professionally. And I'm not saying nothing like this now, but I'm just saying because I realize how old I will be, I would like to take on another role. And I think about Michael Jordan when I say this, that I'm ready to go sit back and not play no more and get fat and watch everybody else do their thing. So, because all my friends, and I know friends that have kids that rap too, everybody want to rap. So I'm saying like, yo, let me start a company. I don't ever want to be nobody's manager. I don't want to run nobody. I don't want to run a label. I'll be a guidance counselor, and I'll run a business like that, and start a business to where I can help all my friends in an easier way than what I did for myself, where I know I had to do a bunch of things to get to a certain place where y'all, guess what? Y'all gonna pay to get to that place, but because I have a bunch of friends that are DJs, producers, MCs, whatever you name, photographers, shoot videographers, everything. So I'm like, okay, what's the one thing everybody will like to have if they have a job already, to work somewhere else too, whether they're moonlighting or anything. If it was someplace they can go for extra work, no matter who you are, my company exists. So I'll snatch up everybody that I know that needs side work. If I got 10 artists that need something from me and they can't do it, I'm like, okay, what you need? You need pictures done, you need a video done, you need shirts done, you need this done. All my friends do that. So my company would be a freelance company for everybody that I don't want to sign to nothing.
Okay.
And I don't want to sign them. It'll be it's almost like Eddie Brock working and Peter Parker working for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Peter Parker get paid for the dopest pitch he take, and Eddie Brock wanted to do the same thing. This is how they did their, how they live. So if people asking me for help, I'm like, okay, if I got a dude that want a package where it consists of, I need beats, I got a producer that got a studio in his crib. Quest, I got 5 dudes that want to come to your studio every day this week. But they have to block out 4 hours.
Okay.
In order for him, because if he charges a certain amount of money, but Quest, you can make more money if they come with no tracks. I'm not telling you to give them your best tracks, but give them something where they can feel like I'll pay for this. So you want to make it. You're gonna dictate that. And then this is how. So he go from the studio. Then now they need a video done. Got my man over here, V. Come on, you. But because if it's 10 people, everybody gonna always work. Because this dude gonna go to the studio. He gonna need shirts. He gonna need pictures, promo pics, whatever. So a lot of people don't have access to this, or maybe not, and pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like you're connecting the dots.
Right. So I'm like, all right, y'all want help, but I'm not trying to sign y'all. I'll help do this, and then y'all go away. If you want to come back, you can use the services again.
But 9 times out of 10, they probably want you to just sign them and lead them in the right direction.
No, because you know why? I'm gonna be like the private eye dude. You're gonna come in late night. Yo, I need help finding this dude because I got stuck up, and I know you know. It's like the bail bondsman, that be up late at night.
Yeah.
So my brother got my man's locked up. I need to get him out. I know somebody that'll be like, yo, all right, cool. Like, you gotta bring this much and da 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 da. So it's like, this is what my service will be.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And then y'all, everyone that's coming knows, like, I ain't trying to be your friend. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? We could be cool as hell. But when it comes to this business, and you tell me, like, what you want on the package? Is a package for 300? Is a package for 5? Is a package for 1,000? I need 1,000 package. All right, with 1,000 package, you're gonna get you're gonna get pictures done, shirts done, these many you get a video done. It's a starter pack.
Yeah, it's like one-stop shop.
Exactly. And
okay.
Then, but if you cool with that service, and we point you in the right direction, that's all we're gonna do. And then you let your man know down the block around the corner, and then he come around, and then that's how I see this happening. To where it's like, I'm not a mainstream artist, so they'll take my word for it more than anything to say, shit, if you can help, if somebody would get dealt with in a way where they be like, yo, I went to L and I'm like this, I'm straight now.
See, but you're like a mainstream artist though, because you've been through the system.
And that's what the part of where them believing what I'm saying, because I've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't want to go through the shit I've been through. I'm trying to make it easy for you. So when you come to me, go tell your man down there, give him this flyer. Everybody that's on my level where I started will want to come.
Okay.
Because it's accessible too. And where, and this ain't something I made up out of my mind yesterday. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I would feel that would be my calling to the culture.
Okay.
And saying, like, let's make it easier for these dudes rather than harder, because we already know what it was like to climb that ladder.
True. That reminds me, out of all your albums, right? All your albums, even your solo album, they all have the same theme to it, like graffiti and b-boy, all the elements of hip hop.
Right.
Now, was that intentional or was that like something organic?
No, it's intentional, because what's organic about it is it hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. From my feeling of making records hasn't changed from when me and Tame first started. I go into making the records the same. The passion is there. I don't know how else to be. Mm-hmm. So it's like when people hear the music, still to this day, when I see reviews and all the reviews look the same, mm-hmm. it's and I know this is just, like I said, what people call things. And they'll be like, yo, this sound like the 90s. This sound like old blue bat. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, God. Like, guess what, though? The reason why it's like that is just the way I'm built. Mm-hmm. It's not going to come out no other way. It's going to always, and my man said, Edo G said it too. Edo's like, they'll do it all of them said it. When they done their verses and I'm about to go in the booth, they all said that this nigga, he gonna go in there and be like, so they know, like, AG said it too. With me, AG did a tour. AG's on one side of the stage, I'm on this side of the stage, and he's over there watching me do my verse, and I saw him over there, like, going like this, and this nigga ran from his side of the stage and met me, and I saw what he was doing. Oh, okay, we met in the middle, but when he got to me, his microphone hit me in the face, hit my tube, you heard it on the mic, and afterwards, he said, my bad, El, but I just want to tell you, when I was watching you do that shit, nigga, I could tell you was the nigga in school or on the block that, like, you wanted to be Big Daddy Kane. You wanted to be Rakim. You wanted to be, like, all that shit they would do. So when I saw you, I was caught in the moment and I saw you in that light, and I said, you know what, you're right. I was practicing, doing all them flows, all the running sentences and stuff, to where I had to figure out how can I be that on my own without being somebody else. So yeah, I honed my craft, you know. But then when you meet other people like A, and then I get with a brother like Tame, lyrically Tame, like I had to keep up with him. Whereas when you get with a person that is already there, like he's there. Like it took me a minute to get there, where I had to like master my own style, like, and be comfortable with it and run with it in a certain way. Where when I heard Tame do a lot of these rhymes, it seemed like effortless in a way for him to think about half of the shit he was saying. So it made me better in a way where, like, if I wasn't like that when I got with him, today I'm a totally different MC than I am when I first started. And that's through just understanding where you at and where you can go.
Because when I hear you with Sadat X, and it's like, it seems like you're just ready to attack the track. It's like you're ready. It's like you have this, it's like you're amped up.
Right.
I mean, okay, which I like. It's like the energy, the flow, everything is just fire.
And that's, I try to think about what